After witnessing disease and poverty in the slums of New York, Italian immigrant Francesca Cabrini embarks on a daring journey to persuade the hostile mayor to provide housing and health care for hundreds of orphaned children. First of all, this movie has a decent production design and cinematography. Unfortunately, everything else is flat. The movie is 145 minutes and it feels overlong as the story really drags over the course of its running time. It suffers both from repetition and an over-reliance on melodramatic plot devices. It's sappy with overdone emotional pulling. The movie is using sentimental tone and approach that sometimes feels like melodramatic emotional manipulation. The script is meandering and strictly chronological. Some aspects feel rushed, forced, generic, or too convenient. The story and the characters are mundane, stoic, and unemotional. The main character is really thin. You can read the Wikipedia page and will get exactly the same level of information. Cristiana Dell'Anna is playing more of an icon than a fully rounded human being. The sense of a flesh and bone of her only truly comes through the cough that shows up every so often to remind us this woman is racing against her limited time on Earth. She comes to America with a cough so bad that a kindly doctor tells her that she only has 2 or 3 years left to live. It's really predictable that miracle happens and she still hasn't died from some sickness by the end of this movie. The movie is using this obvious trick on the character early on by making us aware of her ailing health in an effort to make the overall impact feels more essential. This is one of the generic trappings that the movie is unable to avoid. The dialogue is a mess as it contains many empty slogans in search of a character to support them. This drama barely has enough conflict as well. Strangely, the stakes feel really low as whenever the main character is confronted with a poorly defined challenge to her mission, she always responds to it by showing her stoic look and spouting some jargon. This movie sends down every hurdle until it barely registers on the screen. This isn't a movie where nothing happens, but it sure feels that way. Even at 145 minutes, some subplots are short-changed and end up lost in the grander narrative. Some of the important characters are left unexplored. If a little more gravitas was given to make these characters feel like they belong in the grand life of Cabrini, the film would have been a little bit more effective. In the end, the approach that this movie takes cannot help but dilute the potency of Cabrini's humanistic message. It's not worth to spend 145 minutes to watch this. We do not recommend this movie at all.